Bro, there have been so many things on my mind lately. The first one is seeing how so many engines have turned against Jongwon just because he shared his thoughts during a live about the 6-7 game that has been going around since March 10 of this year. And I want to go back to that day when we were all in shock after hearing the news that Hisun was leaving in Hypen. There were online petitions and everything, and I was one of the people who signed them and encouraged others to sign too. Looking back now, I can't say I regret signing it. Maybe regret is too strong of a word, but it probably would have been better if I hadn't. And I know so many people feel the same way because I've been seeing it a lot on Twitter/X. Of course, everything seemed very sudden, but with everything that's come out over the past few months about Evan's debut, the fact that he himself said he went through a difficult time before debuting as a soloist, and now he's been promoting himself as a rookie, implying that this is his first debut, even calling several artists pseudonym when he had already collaborated with them before while he was even in Hypen. I think you can tell that this really is what he wanted all along. There was this comment the other day that someone left on my podcast, basically saying that everything in Hypen has expressed in their own words is controlled by the company. And I can totally understand that idea because we know that artists can't really express their points of view on very sensitive topics, but that doesn't mean they never have the right to express themselves. Remember that the one who left was Hisun. He left to accomplish one of his dreams, and Jongwon, Jae, Jake, Songhoon, Sonu, and Nikki stayed in the group. And I think they also renewed the contract since there have been small hints in interviews where they said that one of their goals is to stay together for a much longer time. I don't know why Hypen has been getting so much hate just for wanting to keep going as a group and doing their best. They also want the fans to support the 6 of them who chose to stay together, and I honestly think we should be thankful for that. And if you don't feel thankful and believe that everything they say about being 6 is controlled by the company, then I honestly don't think you're ever going to feel happy in this fandom again. Remember how Hisun made promises several times about staying in the group and then he ended up leaving? Exactly. People can change their minds. We're not hating on him for wanting to pursue a solo career, and we shouldn't. We should accept the fact that he wants to go in a different direction and that Hypen wants to continue their careers as a group. And now with Hisun's documentary, I'm even more convinced that this is what he really wanted. To me, the documentary's main purpose feels like Hisun's telling everyone, hey, this is what I really want, this is what I want to do. I honestly don't see how people can still keep talking about bringing him back to the group after watching it. Throughout the documentary, he gave hints that he wasn't as happy or as fulfilled as he wanted to be while he was in the group. None of us really know how long he had been feeling that way. If being in the group was no longer fulfilling him, then I'm genuinely happy that he was finally able to start something that motivates him. We've always known that Hisun wanted to make music on his own, and he even said that he didn't want his own ambitions to get in the way of the group. Now, there's one part of the documentary that a lot of OT7 fans, a term I've honestly stopped using, held on to and never let go of. It almost feels like they ignored the entire documentary and everything Hisun was trying to express. There was a moment where someone from the staff, or maybe one of the directors, told Hisun that he had to convince people this is what he really wanted. And a lot of fans interpreted that as he doesn't really actually want to leave. But from my point of view, considering everything that happened, I think it meant something completely different. Because Hisun had been in Hypen for so many years, a lot of people simply couldn't believe that he could genuinely want a solo career. They believed he would never do something like that and he would always stay in the group. And honestly, a lot of people still think that today. So to me, what they meant was that he really had to make an effort to show people that this is actually the path he wanted to take. Because even now, there are still a lot of people who don't believe it and are still in denial. But the fact that all of the hate is being directed towards the group and the leader just doesn't make sense to me. And I know everything I'm saying is probably making some of you mad right now, but it's simply my point of view. And about the fan chants, people saying that there's nothing wrong with chanting Hisun's names because he contributed to the song is not a valid excuse for the disrespect they're showing the members after they themselves have addressed multiple times that they would like the fans to chant the 6 members' names. Oh, they're being controlled. Girl, then at this point, I guess you don't believe anything they say anymore, right? And please know that I'm not hating on Hisun. I'm simply talking about things that have actually happened, and I genuinely wish him nothing but the best in his solo career, and I hope he feels accomplished and happy with the path he chose. Genuinely, if you're not going to support what Hypen hypen is in the present, I don't think you should stay in the fandom. Everything is going to make you feel miserable and sad, and clinging to an idea you have in your mind isn't going to make things better. Just learn to let go of what happened in the past and focus on the present. Of course, we can still cherish and have a special place in our hearts for what Enhypen once was. As Jungwon said, he understands that a lot of people have a special affection for what Enhypen used to be, but Enhypen is 6 now, and people who disrespect that aren't really supporting the group as it exists today. OT7 doesn't really exist anymore. Now there are engines and evers, and Hypen is 6 and Hysun is a solo artist. Thank you so much for listening.